Welcome to the Molybdenum Software Show. Let's get cracking.
Hello.
I'm already sharing screen. So, next community discussions.
Oh, and sorry, distraction already. I organized a Nix meetup on Friday. That was a ton of fun. I got to meet actual Nixers in my area. The joke is I had to fly to Thailand to meet a Nixer in person, and now I actually know some who live near me, which is great.
Thank you for your work. Hope you had fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Recurring thing?
We're gonna try to make it once a month. We just have to work with the. We hosted it on UC Berkeley campus, and they've got finals and then summer break, so they're a little busy right now. But hoping to do another one in June. Sweet.
Gemini and I recently pushed this GitHub PR tracker project. Over a milestone. And
Say something like, we believe it's at a point where it would start, where it's useful for members of the community or something. Yeah, it's now useful.
So we first addressed the infra team. Infra. This is the page I'm looking for. Let's address the infra team to get it. Well, and they suggested that it's too early to tell whether it would be right to host it on virtual infra. So we suppose next temp address is to the next community. And I think we can find the discourse from no. See it here. Was it ever posted? It wasn't posted, was it?
The
They
infra
don't
team
do that.
meetings?
They do
The
that.
notes get committed to the repo, but I'm not sure if they get posted anywhere.
Mhm.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. It's no hard link. No what linking? It's called
No heading, no anchor tags.
anchor. Okay, that's good enough.
You could go to the raw view and link to a line. Or raw view wouldn't do it. Actually,
No
code,
problem.
the code view.
Good thinking.
Thank you.
So perma link.
Beautiful.
Get out of here. Right. Um, do you have anything to add?
I think we should phrase this in the form of a question.
Okay. Question. May we please have some storage, compute, and subdomain to host this on host this
Yeah,
public.
awesome. Sounds good.
Mm,
And if we wanted to, but we can wait for
mm,
this to evolve, we could also like offer to host it, but it would be nice to have a more official looking domain name. But maybe we just keep that to ourselves for now.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And then that's good.
Yeah, so one thing that people always ask every time we mention this project is they ask if it's deployed somewhere.
All right.
We can
Oh,
share a link
it's
to
kind of
it.
a counterproductive. Well, it's already deployed somewhere.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't want people bookmarking that link, you know? But so I don't know. It's just that comes up every time we bring it up. People ask to see it, and I don't blame them. What do you think?
I think it's okay. You don't want people to bookmark the link because you don't want to take it down and upset anyone.
Right.
Oh, it's not a publicly indexed. It is a publicly indexed.
I'm fine with posting the link, and like if we post the link, I'd just like to include something that says this is hosted in JFly's closet, and no promises about uptime, and no promises that this will be around in a year, sort of thing.
Well, we intend to take it down, hosted somewhere proper. This is Purely experiment. Okay. A purely temporary
Yeah, let's avoid the word experiment.
deployment is at. Do you have it? I think what I just closed.
PR-tracker dot. Yep, there it is. Works for me.
Why would you do that, GitHub? This should open in a new tab. Familiar with this?
Whoops. Oh, notes. I am familiar with those. I definitely do not have the syntax memorized, though. You're a maniac.
This template. Look, did you see how many of them are in my? This is why I have them
Oh, you did a bunch of
memorized.
them. Right.
Add some spice to the otherwise dull world of GitHub readmes. Yeah, but this does not seem to work here, is it? Maybe note is. Maybe warn is not. Yeah, I think warning is not the same. Warning. That's better.
This temporary deployment is temporary.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Yep.
And I think one
Can you
person we
explain
should
to me
probably.
that one with a little arrow pointing up next to it? I've never understood this part of the GitHub
Oh, it's
UI.
upvoting like credits.
Why is it? It's like implicitly you have upvoted it by creating it?
I suppose.
Okay.
I can remove it.
You can remove your upvote? Okay. Well, can you share me a link? I'll upvote and subscribe.
There. I will send it to. Remember, what's his name? From Namin.
Jonas?
Yes, but Zimbatam.
Zimbatam. Yes.
Following up on the PR tracker infrastructure discussion. Who else? Should probably send this to Roland, who's not been involved in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just post it in the room where everyone's been involved.
Yeah.
And is a post in Discourse a good thing? I think it is a good thing because people, otherwise people has no visibility. Should everyone know about a question that's been asked of the Nix community?
I mean, I don't know if every question we could. I mean, we could wait.
Let's wait.
See.
Yeah, let's wait.
Rather than spamming the world.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's see where we are tomorrow.
Tomorrow is optimistic. I'll take it.
Or let's see where we are next week.
By the way, who still has access to this that's not been involved in a long time?
I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back.
What? It's a team base role.
Yellow.
Hey. Okay. Well, everyone has two factors, so.
Great. Okay. Is that it for PR Tracker for now?
I have an urge to do some stuff, at least bump the Rust edition. But we have more things to do, don't we?
I would be quite excited to work on the Elko stuff that we put aside. So that would be my vote.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. So my proposal would be to try out the thing I hacked together. And the reason we could do that is because it would allow us to get coverage of all those Nix REPL tests.
And
that could be cool.
Sounds good.
I don't think we really have a groomed backlog for this project or anything, so
no need.
All right.
Yes. Nothing to add.
Shall I take the screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Where is this project? It's on your personal. Okay. Tiger Sprint. Okay. We have one commit in here. This must be a big boy.
We could move this to molybdenumsoftware.
Your call.
That is where the only reason that org exists is because I'm trying to make a name and to make that name not just me,
Mm-hmm.
but But so far the only persistent member of this thing is you. It's been you. But this is constantly evolving, and everything grows. So it's my choice whether it's named after me or it's a channel's called molybdenumsoftware. I find it difficult to make such decisions.
Yeah. Well, when the decision is tough and can be deferred, let's just defer it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing we could do, staying within Elko so that we're not jumping between projects, because we have a fork of nix.dev where we started incorporating Elko.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to get back to that someday, but to try to avoid jumping around too much, I think what we could do is we could pull this branch, add a new test for an example where the prompt changes, which will fail
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have support for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could see about adopting the thing I created.
Sounds great.
Okay, great. Heal code. Wow. Mob start 7, mob T open. Okay, dope. We're in business. All right, let's start by how do you run the tests? Explain check. Probably it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And these are the tests themselves have more structure. They say like passing and not passing. Oh, we still got Rust code in here. Okay. Oh, we have a failing test. Too bad. Passing tests. There it is. Passing tests. Okay, and then this
Do
probably gets turned into flake check, right? Oh, hey, this rings a bell. And then when I run this again, it'll pass, right?
we don't want that to be the case.
Yeah. Annoying. Okay, shall we take that as our first distraction?
Yes, yes, please.
All right. So just to confirm that this is tricky to repro, there it is, that passed. But I can probably what? Collect garbage on that one path. Do you remember how we did this?
Make store, delete, or just literally delete.
Okay. Next door delete. Nope. That's for World Championships. Unrelated. Okay. That gonna do something. Okay, dope. And then if I try to build just that test, which one is it? Test MDA0? Which check is that?
You can run exec check. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm just confused though. I guess we have. Okay. These derivations must have more derivations inside of them.
Yeah, you don't necessarily know.
Yeah. Cache the success. None of the inputs change. That's a fun one. Okay. Dash rebuild.
You can do that with build, not with check. But I don't. But it's only the top level that will be rebuilt. Which
Okay.
may or may not be the one. Probably not the one that's problematic.
All right. So what I can do is I can take this right here, and I can do next build. This will be cached. Then I can do rebuild. Really? No, that's not the one. It should have. That's the one. Next build. That'll be cached. Rebuild. Nope. Hmm. Oh, and then the failing logs are gone because we did successfully build it. I'm surprised that this didn't rerun the test.
It's not this derivation. It's some derivation is being run inside the sandbox using recursive NICs. That failed and then succeeded. It's like hard to know which one at all it is. Does that make sense?
No.
There's the derivation that we're building through the NIC CLI on the host. And that derivation in its sandbox, in its build scripts or whatever, in its build command, it's issuing NIC's build.
Yes.
Some other derivation, and that is the derivation that is now cached because something was fetched. Like cowsay was fetched, right?
Yeah, but then I did a next door delete of it.
Of what? Of cowsay?
Yeah, right here.
Right. You need to delete this and the success.
Well, sure. I agree that would fix the problem, but I was
No, well,
thinking. I mean, I agree that that'll like get the test to actually run, and then the test will fail, which is what we're trying to make happen. I'm confused why this didn't cause the test to rerun.
Yes, you have to delete. It did, but it ran successfully. You have to delete the cowsay store path and then.
Okay, so if I do -L, like I don't see any evidence that anything's happening.
Oh, I guess it's just some thin wrapper. It's not going to rebuild the entire tree under it. It's going to rebuild it.
Mm-hmm.
And this consists from of steps, right?
Yeah.
It's like one step,
well,
even if it's just one step.
No, I disagree, actually. This is one specific derivation that
This is a
failed to
step?
build. Like, I know that it's a specific derivation that failed to build because here, it says it failed to build. There's no other derivation under this. Like, is it possible that I just don't know how next build works when you're passing at DRVs?
Maybe.
Prepare. Would it be like nix instantiate when you've got a DRV? Like what's the new style thing? Like right
The
there's
style of
realizing and realizing.
Nix.
That's the verb. Is there a command
Realizing is
for
building.
yeah. Isn't there a command specifically for realizing a DRV?
That would be Nix build, right?
Well,
Or Nix derivation, something.
like I don't know that I've ever used nix space build to build a DRV by file name.
Seems to do something.
Yeah, it didn't error out.
There's a derivation subcommand.
Nix derivation. Add and show.
That's it.
That
Add and show.
just puts the derivation in the store.
Yep.
Like there's this command. Nix store dash dash realize.
Try the new Nix store subcommand. I suppose.
Yeah. And realize doesn't show up in there.
Because it's probably Nix build. But if you want to try the Nix hyphen store because at least we can see realize there. It will always just show you the man page.
Yeah. I just wanted to see an example of a DRV file getting passed. But that doesn't do us anything. Okay. But I am curious to try this. And that doesn't do anything. Rebuild. Dash dash check. There we go.
Nice.
And then it succeeds. Okay. Now, is there a new style command for this? Do we want to look for that?
Probably rebuild. Build Nix build. Right?
Oh, we tried that, right? So if I do nix store dash
Mm-hmm.
dash delete to put us back into the situation. Nix build dash dash rebuild dash L for logs. Doesn't do shit.
Hmm.
But if I do nix store dash dash realize dash dash check, we're in business.
I think with Nix build you might. No, I don't know.
Hmm.
I never did this.
Nix build. Maybe it's this bang asterisk or this caret stuff that I've never understood. This is about like
Try.
picking particular outputs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which one should we
Yeah,
try?
this has to do with outputs.
Caret, caret asterisk.
Well, that would be probably all outputs.
Hey, that did it. That definitely feels like it did something. And then if I delete the store path, Boom.
Perfect.
Okay, weird. So building a
Is there anything
DRV.
about this in Nick's build man page?
I don't know. Next build dash
Or
dash
this
help.
is this about installables? I
It's
see that the argument
that
is
does seem like
installable.
where the docs would be. Installables that resolve to derivations are built or substituted if possible. Store path installables are substituted. And how do we learn more about installables?
Man installables.
Really? Okay.
Where is this? New CLI.
Yeah.
Just Nix. Man Nix.
Nix.dev man page. Yeah. So we probably could find this on man Nix. Yep. Operate on one or more installables. These are command line arguments that represent something that can be realized in the Nix store. Okay. This is not a flake output. This is the default. Store path. This is assumed if the argument is a Nix store path or symlink. So in this case, we're giving it a store path.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like a store path to me.
Yes.
Nix file, optionally qualified. It's not that, and it's not a Nix expression. This doesn't get into any nuance about carrots and
Oh, there's
things.
a section flake output attribute.
Yep.
Skip that.
Store path. Okay.
Store path.
These are paths inside the Nix store, or symlinks that resolve to a path in the Nix store. A store derivation is also addressed by store path. I don't think I know what that is. Example, boom. Okay. If you want to refer to an output path of that store derivation, add the output name preceded by caret. Wait. Oh, that's the output name. Okay, sure. It's a weird way of saying it. It's like add this and then put this here. But sure. And then all outputs can be referred to at once with the special syntax block. So can you help me understand what this means? This command right here without the caret?
Why is it accepted?
Yeah, like what does it mean? It's clearly successful. What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
Build a store path. You need a
Well, I'll tell you what it
derivation.
means. It treats this store path as a thing that is built. Like this is a store path. A store path is a product, right?
Like how I can build this thing, which is also a product.
Mm-hmm. So even that it's a derivation, all that Nix would do is see, well, this is kind of embarrassing that you would ask me to do, but yeah, this is in the store, so that's it.
And if it wasn't in the store, it would then look at all my configured substitutors and just try to download it.
I suppose.
And if it didn't exist on any of the substitutors, what? Stuff. This succeeds? Really? Oh, wait. No. Okay, it's probably not like that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so it's not operating at like the individual file level, it's just operating at the entire. This is the substitutable thing. And so this is like a bit of a paper cut, maybe. Like, but it's saying, okay, I'll substitute this thing if I don't have it, It goes and talks to cache.nixos, and it's not there, so game over. Okay, great. That actually makes sense to me. I am glad we took time to think about that.
Me too.
Okay. And now if I want to actually rebuild this thing, we now have a repro. There it is. Nix store dash nix store delete, boom. And I can wrap this all up in one line. Okay, there's our repro. I will share that with you and rotate over to you.
I don't think I have. Also, here's the work tree, but I should have. Oh, no. No. It wasn't mobile software and
Well,
yeah.
We got a response to our discussion already.
Cool. There. I'm fine with running. Who is this? Container.
This
So,
person is a. Oh wait, no, I don't know who this person is. But they've got that scary. I've seen that scary picture before.
Their what? Their like link in GitHub is open collective mixed community. Whoever this
The
is.
community has achieved sentience.
Well, it's open collective is like for donations, sponsoring. Maybe that's their livelihood. It's not loading. Nothing is. I'm fine with running it here for a couple of months as an experiment, but only on the condition that it isn't going to be permanent. Nixo is non-critical, is where this sort of stuff should be hosted once it moves past the experiment stage. What is non-critical?
That's the team that I'm on. The non-critical infra. Which is basically everything but the builders and Hydra and the cache keys.
Yeah.
And the AWS S3 bucket.
JFly and I agree that it belongs that if successful, whatever that means.
Yeah. I think that's a fair way of putting it. If we need to prove that this thing is like
that
useful,
in any case,
do we need to collect? I guess we'll have. Are we gonna have logs? We'll probably have logs, right?
just good. I mean, not as a complete response. Yes, we'll have logs. We to even understand whether it is successful.
Do we have logs? Like, what happens with our deployment right now? That's Nginx, I guess, which probably does have logs.
I don't know. The logs are in your closet.
Yeah. We
could take a look, but what do we? do we want to just say, does anyone else need? Sorry, we're not familiar with the roles this org. Does anyone else need to chime in?
Sure. Sounds good to me. It looks like I just checked. Our Rust API server does not log requests at least the way I have it configured right now. It's possible that some reverse proxy that's in front of it would have logs, but those might also be harder to deal with because that reverse proxy might service more than just one thing.
So do you think that we need another milestone here? We need another piece? Otherwise, how would we even report? Right? How would we need to be able to tell ourselves and everyone else, this is how much usage we got.
Yep.
And also, and that's only one part of it. That's like logs. The other part of it is testimonials. When we announce it, we will say, hey, and please, for this thing to stay up, we need you to tell us that you're using it, who you are, and what you're using it for.
Yep. That's not a code thing, but I agree. If we get this thing hosted, we'll post on Discourse and we'll ask people to let us know if they find it useful. We might also want to figure out some way of injecting some text into the homepage of the deployment so that people have a little context.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I would say if we want to use the milestone terminology, it's a milestone with two issues. One is logging, maybe not even configurable logging, just log every request. And then, some sort of configurable message on the home screen or on top of the Open API thing. Or, it doesn't even have to be configurable since there will be only one deployment of this thing for the foreseeable future. So let me show you what I'm looking at. So here's the server it's running on in my closet. When I make requests, nothing shows up. All right. Because we're not actually going to formally deploy. This is going to be unofficial deployment. Then we can link to, what's it called? Nixos? No, Nix community. Was it on infra? Is that where?
I think it's on the org level.
Weird.
That's you got Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It must be associated with the project somehow. This is just Nix community infra discussions forwards to, yeah, I don't know. GitHub question. All right, and then let's throw a couple more issues on this milestone. All right, logging. Okay, so there's one. And then the other one is homepage message.
Content.
Uh,
Spiders are so intelligent.
Okay, and that's going on milestone unofficial deployment. Okay, great. All right, so there we go. 2 more things to do. Do you want to bounce back to this?
Bounce back to this. Yes, I would like to bounce back. I'd like to take this opportunity to, if we're doing any change, making any change here, would like us to, well, a Rust change, then I want to bump the addition.
Okay. Let's do it.
Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Chugga, chugga, chugga. Okay, does this go in cargo toml? Right here?
Yes.
And change this to what, 2025?
4.
2024. Okay. Is that it?
I'm not sure why it's, and it seems like Rust 2024 ended up being released in 25. Maybe it's just a kind of a
Sure, got the name
setback.
based on when it was supposed to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. I expect us to get warnings.
Okay. Cargo
But we
clipping?
didn't. Oh, yeah, maybe only all targets. You don't have to deny warnings specifically anymore. But we got nothing, did do we?
Okay. You wanna do this actually? It'll be faster.
Well, isn't it strange that we don't get so typically? I was hoping that this would kind of force us to use async closures.
Okay.
But it does not.
Okay. You wanna be human CI on that branch? Give that a next leg check.
Sure.
And then I'd be down to try to use async closures as a branch that builds on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so like I'm looking for boxed.
Bump addition.
Like, is this a opportunity to use an async closure?
I don't see async here.
Async function.
No.
Which is
you need
going
to find
inside of a closure.
Oh, it's an async function going inside of a closure. Huh. Perhaps. Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be as simple as like annotating this thing as async, and then just inlining.
Inlining the body, yes. Async, it will be async move.
Why move?
Try without. It might fail. I think we're using some stuff. If you move the body, we would use some of the arguments. But let's see.
Okay.
No,
cursor.
No, don't. Can you undo that, please?
Mm-hmm.
So take, referential transparency. Take the body of the function.
This time. Oh, that doesn't quite work.
That's fine.
Too bad.
The async closure can have a body, a curtis, right? So copy this.
Mm-hmm.
And then replace the function call, including the boxed, with that. And add async before the move. You can replace the move.
Okay.
Remove the move. And
it's gone.
Remove the function.
Okay. We lost some important code with that operation.
What did we lose?
So what we lost was this new cursor.clone in TXN.
No, I don't think. Clone is like just a memory thing, and
okay. All right.
Okay, let's see what's happening. What's going on?
It's not formatting, which is distressing. This invalid syntax. Great. Something
It's
I need
not
to look
formatting?
into. I don't know. Something about my editor. Yeah, that's not formatting. That's definitely on my end.
Well,
I don't
maybe
know what
you
it
need.
is.
No. Maybe you need to reload. No. Async.
Discovering next phone entry point. That looks promising. Okay. Lost my editor history. Do I have formatting? Still no love. What's your percent? Yay, it worked. Okay, great. So what's up?
Nice.
Type block cannot be dereferenced.
Why don't I Oh, I see. They're green. You have errors colored green. Sure. Errors.
I haven't chosen that color.
Okay. Cannot be dereferenced. Okay, then don't dereference it. I mean, dereference it one less.
Like that?
What now?
Type mismatch in function arguments.
So the whole async closure, but I don't see this time I don't see any green, so I'm not sure what the error is. Why don't I see any green?
I think it's maybe there's a little green here, but then it's clobbered by this required by
Can
a
you
bound.
toggle with the
It's not working.
So
Something's up with my... I don't see it. Didn't update today, so it's possible that let me pull yesterday's NeoVim. Can look into this later. Try that one.
well, bump edition succeeded. So I'll push it.
Great. Here we go. This is what you wanted, right?
Yes, thank you. That's great. Expected the function signature. Uh, oh. Yeah. It expects a ref mute transaction, but we're giving it a ref mute connection. And what that reference dereference thing is deref, the deref trait. That something can be dereferenced into another type of reference. Remember that?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I remember this in that it's a thing I know I don't understand. Or like have not internalized.
So what TXN? What is TXN?
I mean,
Ref mute transaction, and we need it needs PG connection. So when we changed, when we removed that additional reference, before we did that, can you put like the first one, add it back, add the reference back?
add a reference back.
Yep.
So
Sorry,
we had
I'm
two
sorry,
asterisks.
dereference. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what there.
Yeah. This is where we were before.
And it says it's already a PG connection, right? because it says PG connection cannot be. So it's already the thing that we want it to be.
Okay.
But when we remove
how do
one
we know
dereference
what we want it to be?
from the error message.
Yeah, I mean, this tells us the type cannot be dereferenced.
No, I'm sorry. Expected transaction of PostgreSQL. I'm sorry, that's the opposite. It is a PG connection, so it's an owned. Yeah, so we definitely have one too many. One too many. The question is, why doesn't it like insert the deref call? Like, you understand?
Yeah, derefs are sometimes implicit, like based on
Right.
type inference or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. The executor is, but that's not where the error is it? No, it is. I'm sorry, it is. Yeah, but I think okay. So the inference doesn't work because there's a type mismatch in the function arguments at the top. Right? If there's a function, so the type of the async closure does not match the right. Line 155, you have a failure to implicitly deref, right?
I don't see this as a failure to implicitly deref. I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's not what it's. It is. It is because we know that it's supposed to. It worked before. It worked when it was a function that is passed, called within a closure, right?
So what I don't remember is with the old code, what was the type of TXN? Was it this, or was it something else?
It was the same. The only difference is a failure to automatically insert the implicit deref call.
Okay.
And I will tell you why. Because the entire async closure here, the type of it fails to infer. There's a failure to infer the type of the async block. So there's a failure to infer the return type from the async block. And therefore, right, like that implicit inference, an implicit inferred deref depends on the type being known, what to deref into.
Okay. It just doesn't look like there's any ambiguity. Oh, I guess the question marks are where the ambiguity is. Because there's a result of some unknown. Because there's nothing ambiguous about that.
Well, yeah. You're saying what's the connection between? Yeah, I get it.
But I can see how, like, in order to infer what this is returning would require understanding this, which, or sorry, would require this to, this could coerce into various things, and previously that was an unambiguous operation because it knew what the result error variant needed to be because it was typed. So
it was typed.
So can we just type the block like we had the function typed? Does Rust let you do that?
Maybe. Provide the type for the
this thingy?
Return
like,
of
can
the
I just
closure.
do an arrow like that?
It seems like it's missing a No, it seems like it worked, but it didn't help us. But another thing here is that it's true that PG connection cannot be dereferenced. Like if you undo, you'll see that it's not the same. TXN is not the same thing, I suppose.
So here's the old code. Mute
Well,
** TXN. And this is the exact same type, right? Ref mute, transaction, anonymous lifetime or something, Postgres.
what gets past that? But that's a parameter, so it's not the same thing. It's a ref mute.
That's a parameter.
No,
this is not a parameter?
Ref mute transaction. No, you're right. It's the same thing. It's the same type, is it?
It looks character for character identical to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can be explicit if there's some way that makes a difference, but I doubt that's it.
No, I agree. Well, in any case,
that changed the error?
it did.
Why? Okay, so being explicit somehow made a difference. Weird. Okay, so is this closer to working?
I'm not sure, but I would like to see the error before it's tested, because that's the key. My point is, I think we should look at the bigger mismatch and not the smaller one, right? Like inside the body of the closure matters less. First make the closure match. First look at the mismatch outside there.
Sorry, I'm not following. First do what?
First look at the, consider the 145 mismatch before looking at the mismatch in the body of it.
Right. Okay. And sure. I think I'm confused about, like, why would I get a different error if I replace an inferred type with just the exact same type but explicit? Like, why would that change the error the compiler spits out?
I think. Before that, I'm not sure. Got to look at that more carefully, but I think I understand also why there's a mismatch at all. Because this, in main, this is a function that declares the parameter type, and the deref actually probably happens when that function is called inside that little async block. Can you show us that?
I'm not able to follow which function you're talking about.
The function
that we
the
implicit
removed,
deref
that we are
here?
inlined. Nope, in the call of it.
Okay.
It's more down. Yeah,
Down
TXN
here.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy that if not for the fact that the type inference is identical. That doesn't add up for me.
Yeah. Also, reference. Yeah, it's passed by reference. So hold on. There, TXN is a ref mute, so it can be deref muted into something else. What we get is a ref mute PG connection from the upsert, and then transaction gives us a TXN. Okay, so what does transaction give us? A SQLX transaction, and that is the same as what we have in main in the function, isn't it? We just passed it. The right hand side is a bit difficult for me to read because it's blurry.
Did you say
Where
it's
is that
blurry?
function? Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a bit small for me. Transaction. Yes, it's exactly the same type. Disregarding the. Yeah. So I think you're right in trying to make that. It found a signature PG connection, right?
It
Why?
found
Why is
a
it inferred?
signature PG connection. Are you talking about this line right here?
Yes. Yes. That function we gave it takes a ref mute PG connection for some reason, and that's probably because why?
Maybe it's because it's like deducing that's what it needs to be for this execute function.
Yeah, there's some kind of inference ordering, possibly inference or suboptimal for us ordering. So let's
Maybe.
let's make it more explicit, and then some errors
Okay.
should change, right?
Yeah. So you believe that this is a step forward. That was the question I was asking earlier.
A step forward in figuring it out. We might
Right.
not end up needing, we might help end up helping inference somewhere else with a hint
Sure.
somewhere else. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Expected async closure. Line 146. So it doesn't have a name. So I guess that's why you get these sorts of
Expected
messages.
it to return a
Pin
pin,
box din future up. Blah blah blah.
but
But
it
it
returns
returns one of these.
an async closure. That's a ecosystem mismatch.
Ecosystem mismatch. Okay.
Because before async closures, we have to work with these box future.
Okay.
And that's what the pin box sign future. That's what we have to do if you don't have async closure. But now we do have async closures. And we still have to do this because this API does not support receiving async closures yet.
Okay. Great. So abandon this.
We could possibly box. What if you box it?
What if I
It
box
is an
what?
async closure, but boxed.
What am I boxing?
The async closure itself, possibly.
Okay, so like wrap
I
this
think
thing in
it should be
parens.
the return of the async closure, but
Like that.
it exists for async closure, but its trade bounds were not satisfied. Yeah, the async closure does not implement future. It's the return. That's correct because it's the return value of the async closure. not the async closure itself. Box future. That's an interesting question, right? Like there's the workaround, and then there's language support, and then the workaround does not permit the language support mechanism. Not pretty.
Yep. Yeah. So like if I was a Rust Pro, at this point I'd want to like submit a patched upstream to allow doing this the like modern way. But I do not feel like I have enough Rust under my belt to do that.
And I think this Rust moves fast enough for someone to have probably made some helper that takes an async closure and turns it into something that returns a box.
Okay.
Returns a box. That's what I think may be the case. We are not the first to encounter this.
Sure.
And we are not the most motivated to fix this, right?
Sure. So what do you want to do?
I suggest we take a look at this question. How to use closures where async closures where things that return box future are expected.
Yeah, I mean, given that we had code that worked, I don't see the value in straddling the old world and the new world.
Sure. Yeah, we have some more of these to change. To like, can just revert it. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to being convinced, but like, I mean, if you just want to do it because it would be a neat learning opportunity,
let's do
I'm
the
totally
rest
sympathetic
and
to that.
see where we are.
Okay. GCO dot, and I will rotate over to you.
So the tracker. Which, what did you call it?
Try async closures. But I'm not sure I even pushed the branch because.
You want me to create another one?
Yeah, go for it.
I think we're looking for like async curly. That's an async block. It seems like the only one.
Wait, so what's the... What are these anonymous callbacks called in Rust? With the vertical bars?
Closure.
Those are called closures. Okay.
This is the closure that returns an async block. Well,
got it.
No. It returns an async block after it's been passed through a box local method.
Okay.
So this, so let's see this width, right? See this width? This is in our control.
Mm-hmm.
So could possibly change this to not take a function once it returns a local box future static b. Instead, I don't know what the signature. What is the signature? Async. Oh, I think it's like async fn once, and that would just be t, wouldn't it?
Okay.
And that's the change that they need to do over there as well at SQLX.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose. And then I go back here and stuff is failing, right? So if I take the async and I put it here. Now it's an async closure. And I take the body of this async block and I paste it over the body, removing the box local, right? The body of the road. That seems like it. Now we have an unused here. I think that's another usage, right?
Yeah.
This async. Let's remove the move because might not be necessary now.
Oh,
Take the body of the block, paste it over here. Ha!
Lovely.
What do we have? Remove all the unused imports. We have another local box feature, so this is already nicer. Oh,
Well, once it works, maybe.
Yeah. Here's another one. This is what another one, just another one. Async loop.
Cool.
Any more? DB rep. Async. Wow, so fancy.
Very nice.
Move this. We can have nice things. There. Let's sync this here for the test. I saw a warning. This one. Whoops, I killed it, but it's still running. I killed something. Kill it again. I think we did that, right? That seems right.
Don't remember.
This makes me think that more instances of like box future might not be necessary. Like, what the heck is this? Yeah, that's another one. This is test context. Should take an async fn once and say, don't I have this? Close. And this would become units.
Okay.
And I don't think that this plus static is necessary either.
All right.
And I think that this is not necessary either because it's like it's implied.
Yep.
And now we should have some failures. It can happen. It may happen.
All right. Okay. So compiled and the test pass. You were promising me errors.
Yeah, I rotated, right?
Okay, let's see what I got. Yeah, I've got your changes from a few minutes ago.
Well, maybe it's compatible for some reason. It makes sense that it's compatible. But you can search for like text search for more of this future X actually, because I think we use it for those
Okay, like
blocks.
this right here would ideally be an async block rather than a block that rather than a closure that returns an async move block.
Yes. So would this.
Okay, so this is like async. I don't even know.
Yeah, that was correct. Async before the pipe. And then you take the body of the async block. Well, this is a bodiless closure.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take the body of the current async block. Whoops, that doesn't work because it's arbitrary syntax.
Mm-hmm.
And you can paste it over the existing bodiless body. Look. Yeah. And now you can remove the... Oh, it did it for you.
Wow. Not syntaxless. Unused. Look at that. And then these can become async blocks or not even blocks. Are they async? Okay. Okay. I'm just curious. Was it Rust LSP band macro? Okay. So we've got this like double async block situation going on. It's like an async block that immediately awaits on an async block. Like, this is unnecessary, right?
After it's expanded, it's definitely unnecessary.
Okay.
But before it's expanded, this may have to do with like the usage. Show us the usage is on the. Show us some usage.
I mean, usage is over here. Maybe I don't know what
Right.
usage means.
Yeah. That's usage. Mm. Okay, go to the definition.
Of the test macro?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And just remove, just like unwrap. You know, there's like the with call. Just past that. Yeah, I would do
Like
it
that?
more. Yeah, undo that because I don't like. I lost you there because can you make that edit atomic?
I'm going
Like
to
it's
delete this code right here.
well, it's on both sides, right? What you want to do is copy $test called with await,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe without the call for await, just $test with context. Copy this and then paste it over.
I don't know where we're going with this.
I'm trying to. Yeah, test it over all that. Is that correct?
I do
Would
not
that
know.
work?
Well, that gets things unhappy.
What is test there? What is it supposed to be? This is like an async closure, right? So it's an async closure. It cannot be called with context, can it? Yes, it can. Can be called with async closure on the right. Async move, whatever. And what's the error?
Trait bound, blah, something.
That, sorry. Yeah.
Wrote a text file for some reason. Because it's comically long. No. Shorter than the file name.
Async fn once that takes a test context is not implemented for the closure that we provided. Because it's an async block. This is an async block. Is it still an async block that we are passing over there?
Well, in one test it is, and the other one we haven't updated yet.
Async block or async closure? Uh-huh. Yeah, change the other usage to async closure, I suppose.
Well, can we just get this one working first?
Mm-hmm, sure. But that doesn't seem like an error because now it's gray, so I'm not sure what... Is this an error? It is an error. The
Looks
trait
like an error.
bound... That async closure needs to implement async fn once that takes something. And returns nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Is the full been written to cannot find value CTX in this context. CTX. CTX in this context. In the can you on the left can I see the expansion, but what I would like to see is the
Well, I need to update the expansion. That's out of
I would
date.
like to see the definition. That's the definition. There we go. We must not call. We should allow with to call the closure. We are calling it line 41. We're
Right,
calling. We
CTX
should
doesn't
not
exist
call it.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yep, got it. Okay, lovely. And now the expansion should look less silly, right?
Oh yeah.
There we go. Body. There's this async block. Unclear what that's about. But test context with async
Well, it's coming
closure.
from somewhere, right?
Yeah, maybe that's the Tokyo test thingy that we use.
Maybe. That makes sense.
So what my brain is starting to wonder is like if we still need the macro. Like, is it serving as much value as it used to? So like, let me write the second one without the macro. And then
Yeah.
let's debate.
It's very small. Macro is small.
Okay, we don't need that test context with. Don't need that twice, I mean. Ooh. Necessary parentheses, bye. Okay. I don't know. What do you think? Is the macro still worth keeping?
Well, for one, both in I think in both cases you don't need to declare that the parameter is test context. I think that can be inferred. Can you do that? Thank you.
Yep, that seems to work. This is nice because we get better editor support.
Correct.
Our test, the interesting stuff does end up double indented. That await really wants to be on its own line.
Yeah, you can't argue with editor support, right? And I think the only motivation we had to make the macro is
Okay, so we're gonna drop the macro.
yes, I'm pretty sure we're dropping the macro here.
Bye-bye, Mr. Macro. Okay, and this will be something like that, except health check. Not okay. Taking this
Probably
thing.
someone right now, other than us, doing the same thing. Refactoring code to work with async closure.
Okay, there we go. Much nicer. I was not enjoying not having good editor support inside of those tests.
All the tests.
All right. Test landings.
Your
42.
starting point can be to okay, well it's already fed. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got one. Okay. I guess any of these work. Okay. So our tests look like this. So let's do that. It's called JSON. Test context with blah blah blah, and then this. And this goes here. Then home page, redirect, and this goes here. Then API docs. Love it.
Nice.
Okay. Negative PR number. Take all this and put it here. All right. Then I suppose we can give this one the same treatment. This will be internal landed error. All this stuff for DB. View test context. Bye and goodbye. Okay. PR not found. Then PR not landed. Yank and paste. Then PR landed. Yank all of this and paste. And delete the old one. Save. Okay, that's unused. Love it. Okay. I don't know why this keeps showing up here. Just did that. This has already gotten the treatment. That's unused. Then it's going to complain about something else. Okay, goodbye. Fine. Okay, here we go. V1 API not found. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Bye. All right. Then do we have? I don't see test bang in here. And do we have test bang in here? No. Cargo test. Test util. 2. That's unused now.
Maybe we could remove the crate futures.
The crate called what?
Futures, where all these unused are from.
Oh. I assumed that stuff was built in. Okay, mob next. Take it away. Uh-oh. I just checked my email.
No, not really. I handle the majority of the infra work. Can you please switch to using build Rust package and cargo hash from these packages rather than using NCI and everything else that it drags in? Why do you think you can ask us to do things?
I mean, he can ask.
You can ask why we're doing it this way. That would be a more approachable question. thing CI is it's like parts options from that way. Like different in now we have to like PR tools API, right? API. But one of them is just NCI, which maybe we should rather actually hide because of the stuff that's in here, like this one. But my point is we can have like this. That is can we does it when I do permalink for the whole file, I kind of actually want to say, right, NCI creates, for example, here, right? This part.
Mm-hmm.
So all the, I don't know, what is it even? MetaMain program and including project docs and some file set related things, right? So all the, this is API. So all the PR tracker API related values go in one file, and the fetcher related values in another file, which I will obtain. Projects CRV config, and yep, this is a bunch of stuff that belongs specifically for the fetcher. Crates. There's actually two crates here. Fetcher. Copy permanent for this. What does it look like? Just links. So we appreciate the wiring, this ability, specifically. So, and it's integration with third parts. So An alternative would be to, if we were to keep this ability and migrate to build Rust package, we'd need to, that would involve kind of re-implementing equivalent options, like part options backed by the Rust. Additionally, NCI provides us with a dev shell as well. Just anything that comes to mind?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're talking past each other. Like he's expressing concern about the stuff that it brings. I don't understand what the stuff that it brings
Oh,
is.
that's what's it called? Dream Tunics and Crane.
Okay. So when is he talking about just like complexity for building, or is he talking about like the actual stuff that gets built and deployed, like the actual deployed thingy?
Just dragging in more dependencies. That's
Right. But I guess like with Nix, you need to be clear about what you mean by dependencies. Like there are build dependencies and run dependencies.
build. Obviously, we this using NCI does not does not increase any runtime dependencies. Does
Yeah.
not inject any more runtime dependencies. It's only for the Nix side of things, and then the
Okay. So
build side of
that
things.
was my understanding. I guess I'm just saying that's not obvious to me from his sentence. Like their sentence.
Well, they know that NCI does not inject runtime dependencies, right? That's the thing.
Or they know something about NCI that we don't know.
Come on, what could it be?
I don't know. I mean, that's like I guess I don't understand the
Okay, so
sentence, and so like responding to it.
we suppose you are referring to primarily, I don't know exactly what it drags in, but to Dream Tunics and Crane, which NCI uses.
Okay.
Using it, and we don't, and we and actually we those are not the those are not those were not the primary attractors for us in choosing this. The reason we've been using CI is its flake parts option. which allow us to be more declarative and neat about, in general. For example, see how all the pure tracker API related values go in one file, and pure tracker fetcher related values go in another file, and they and you know and NCI and the options and the merge strategies provided by NCI's, like arts options, take care of the rest. We appreciate disability specifically.
So, I don't know. I'm just like not sure this is the discussion this person wants to have with us, or that this is like.
The point is, we're not familiar with an alternate. Like, this is. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, like, I mean, where my brain's going right now is like, it would be a lot of effort for us to move off of NCI. And like, I'm not open to doing that work just to deploy something somewhere for a couple of months. Like, I would rather just spend some money on a VM. Like, my time is more valuable to me. So like, what is it that we're trying to do here? I guess, like,
answer the question.
Yeah. But like, do we think we're going to
We are
convince him? I mean,
reluctant to
sounds like
do
this
this for
person's
this reason.
mind is made up. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a big wall of text when like maybe what we could just say is like, hey, it would be a lot of work to move off of NCI. Like, and it would like,
Well, we could TLDR this.
yeah.
Well, it would be some, yeah, it would not be just a few minutes to migrate from NCI to build Rust.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just like having second thoughts about even bothering with the community infrastructure. Like, what does it do for us that we can't? Like, we know we don't want it to be there forever. They don't want us to be here forever. So, like,
Do you want to publish this in your closet? And
if we're just trying to, sorry, are you talking?
I thought you were about to
I
suggest
can't
that.
hear you.
Oh, what? Can't hear me. Hey, I'm muted. I'm not muted.
Is this me?
Hey,
Maybe it's me.
I think it's maybe you.
Oh yeah, must be me.
Hey.
Weird. I'll be right back, I guess. Wow, sorry. That was super weird. I think my headphones like disconnected from their Wi-Fi receiver or radio receiver thingy.
Okay. And you were saying that you're
Well,
not sure
I
what
mean,
we need Nix
you've
community
written this,
for.
so like it's not, we can just send it. I'm just saying, I don't think it's worth having much of a debate here. And the way that that previous question was phrased sort of sounds to me like they're politely saying their mind is made up. But let's see what they say.
Yeah, well, they don't know all this. And they may not have the experience with larger Rust projects where it matters, right? Because build Rust package is it's an X packages thing, and everyone wishes it had the granularity to provide each create its own derivation. Everyone wants that, but so far that has not been developed because unless I'm not up to date, because it's used primarily in X packages, and in X packages you don't have huge Rust. You don't have huge Rust applications, right? Like you have, they're growing, I suppose, but it's
Sorry, I'm not
enough.
following. I would imagine they're bigger than what we've done, right?
The big,
I mean,
yeah, there's some that are
we
bigger
haven't
than
done
that.
a big project. It's just very simple CRUD API or not even a CRUD API. It's just a read API.
Sure, yeah.
I think the highlighted
But
sentence might have a
it's
typo or something.
when you package something for Nix packages, you don't work on it in in Nix packages repository.
Sure,
You package it again,
sure.
and in that
Yeah.
context,
No, yeah, I totally get it. Like for development purposes, yeah, incremental rebuilds are very nice. But is there a typo in this paragraph?
what? Sorry, where? Also, in
We dependencies?
dependencies.
Okay.
Right, not each dependency. Do, 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 do. Mm. Well, I'll delete this because this crane does provide uh,
Mm-hmm.
the dependencies derivation.
Yep.
Uh, so one reason, it NCI is its like parts option does allow us to be more assertive in need. More clarity in. For example, And we appreciate this ability specifically. We appreciate this. Also, and this is a crane feature, dependencies, all of them together get their own derivation. That saves time during development. This is important. If we were to keep this ability, we cannot keep these abilities. If we were to migrate to build Rust package, will involve re-implementing equivalent take-part options backed by Rust, and we'd lose the dependencies derivation, specific derivation. It's plural because we have, no, it's one. Workspace. Additionally, we can see I provides us with a dev shell. I think this a bit. No, it's actually useful. With like it integrates into. Yeah, I think that's correct, right? Like, with convenient integration with dev shell. So, how important is this request to you? What's the angle? This good?
I mean, again, I think it's like a lot of text, but you have written it, so it's fine.
It's educating. It's appropriate.
Yeah, but if this person already knows all this stuff, it's going to come across as like lecturing, and like I don't know who this person is. They might have explored. They might have built Rust package. Or, like I have no idea.
So yeah.
But like, I mean, this is
I can go.
You're the one writing this, so like, feel free to post it. I'm just...
Throw me on the bus. Tell us to be declarative and neat. No, I know you got my back. Declarative and neat.
But I mean, the bigger point that I'm trying to make here is like, I'm not seeing a lot of value in spending time on this, and that includes like agonizing over this message. It's just like we should just, yeah, sure, that's one good way to cover your butt. Sure.
And I wouldn't even ask this. Just submit it.
Sure. And I just think, if this peters out, we can just politely. Sure. Yeah. I think this is fine. And I'm just like forecasting that this person's probably not going to be thrilled about this, and that's fine. Like, I would rather us just pay for a few months of hosting somewhere or use my closet and like.
Let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Which is probably in a few minutes.
This person seems to be awake and responsive.
All right. I've spawned it here.
Great.
and I will rotate.
Alrighty.
Be right back.
Sure. Okay, where did we leave this? Mob start 7. How's Clippy looking? Okay, that's good. How's tests? Okay, so local box futures, we're trying to get rid of those. Do we have any left? Fetcher circ test. Okay. Ooh, another test context that probably can be simplified. Lovely. Database context with. That's the one we just changed. Yep, async fn once, so this can be an async. And this. Like that. Perhaps. Okay. Indentation doesn't make sense to me. I guess that's some styling thing. Okay, great. Then this can also take an async fn once and return nothing at all. What that is. Async. Oops, typo. Great. Fetcher circ test. Move unused import. Okay. Async. Does that work? Ah, beautiful. So nice. Loving it, loving it, loving it. I got one more on line 387. There it is. Async. Well, okay, so I'm giving the same treatment to our other test helper, the one for the fetcher code. This is going much the way it did before. Looks much nicer. Great. All right, Clippy's still happy. All right.
Any more mention of futures? Great.
See. What's that? Toml, lock file. There's one. And that's the only one left, maybe?
Check it out.
Or circ lib futures future x. Hard to tell where it's referenced.
Remove it to find out.
Okay. Let me do a mob next. All right. Well.
Where is it?
Okay.
Yes.
Something boxed.
Ah, we were here. We've been here.
Right. Yes, we have.
The first one.
Yep.
First and last.
Yeah.
So this is not our function. If we look at it again before we make a change at all,
Mm-hmm.
Transaction takes. Look at the type that it takes.
Yep.
Not our transaction. Transaction method. Perhaps there's an alternative. Perhaps there's another one that takes what we need.
Okay.
Perhaps there's a newer version of SQLX core.
Async closures, async blocks.
Just go to SQLX core.
What is the feature we just got? Is it async closures or async blocks?
Yes, async closures.
Async closures. Okay. But what do you want to look at? SQLX
Just
docs.rs.
yeah. Well, it's SQLX core.
Oh, okay. Okay. I go here. Great.
Find that method. Transaction.
Module method. Oh
Yeah,
wait, there were
that's the one.
two. Module method. This is it. Okay.
So does it have a sibling that is? Is this trait method? It's a trait method.
Mm-hmm.
And the trait is what? Connection.
Trait dot connection. Think so.
Right. So you see that it takes callback F, where F. It's funny. It says for lifetime CF function once that thing that we don't want, right? Like that almost async closure.
Yes.
So in lieu of a better API, the only thing we could do, we could either just leave it, or we could see whether there's like a converter thingy.
So this example doesn't use the futures crate. Why is that?
It uses box bin,
Okay.
but it, box bin async move. I think we should do that because that would allow us to remove the. Also, it doesn't. We need to somehow provide a. Do we provide a function there? That's where we had the function that we declared a function, then used it. Normal function. And here they don't need a normal function, right?
Yeah.
So let's try to do what they do.
Okay, so this is the reference code here. So they call a box pin async move. All right, sure. So this code, transaction, pin, async move, and then all of this code is here. Comment out the old code. Okay, that's unhappy. What's the return value here?
Look at your green errors.
Dot await. Oh, we already had dot await. Oh, but we want to actually return this value, so I'm removing the semicolon. Okay, great. And that's connection. Okay.
We may have been
Lifetime.
here. Maybe that's why. Move. You might need to move. Wait a minute. This is what they had there, right? One must outlive static. I don't know what one is. What is one? Do we have hints?
We do have hints. Let's call the lifetime of this reference 1. That does smell different because we do clone it here.
Is that just the cursor?
New cursor. It's whatever thing we're inside of. GitHub PR query cursor.
Mm-hmm. We can move it in, I suppose. Oh, that no, we cannot move it in. We can because it's a yeah. So outside we can move it in after we clone it outside. Does that make sense?
Okay, so like let new cursor equals new cursor dot clone. Then how do we move it in? Or is that it?
Apparently. Well, we already have an async move. It is moved 160, 176.
It implicitly gets moved or something?
No. Well, is it implicit if you have the move keyword?
I don't know what gets moved with the move keyword.
Everything that is used by
Okay.
identifier.
Good. Okay. Oh, something's unhappy. Method not found. 434.
Seems like that's not the only usage in this file.
Got it. Okay. All right, sure. So we can give this one the same love. Then we have another one, async. Okay, so that's the same treatment as well. What's the one we just did? There's the same thing as well. Where is the code we just messed with? That's here. Observe. Okay. All right, so we got a lot of this to do. Okay. I'm gonna rotate, and I gotta run the bathroom.
I'll try to
Be
make some.
right back.
Okay. Where's my editor? There.
It looks like we did get a response from Zawak.
Let's see what we got. If you want it deployed here, I want it moved off NCI. Just to clarify, all I want is a simple package for deployment. You can keep NCI, etc. for development as long as it can be disabled like this. It's a bit rude.
He's in charge. I don't understand. Like, the thing that gets built is the same, right? Like, that's the thing. That was the question I was asking before. So, I mean, I guess the concern here is about the build dependencies. That doesn't bother me, I guess.
Why do you think people can behave this way? Requesting is one thing, but phrasing yourself this way and not even explaining why in a community project?
I mean, he's running it. There's no.
It's a community. It's Nick's community. It's not Zowok community.
I mean, there are no rules here, right? Like, this is just everyone tries to be nice to each other, and
this is not trying to be nice to each other. This is tyrannical. I'm not putting you on, so you don't have to respond if you're trying to be not, non-confrontational here. That's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, they might have their reasons, and like there might be some education. There might be an interesting learning if we tried to probe on what those questions are. But probe on what those are. But at this point of the conversation, I think it's like any questions we ask are going to come across as like we're not just merely trying to learn, we're also trying to like attack your reasoning. So I think like
cannot attack a reasoning that has never been explained. And I appreciate that everyone, is busy with stuff. And maybe least Nick's community is the least of Zowok's responsibilities.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyways,
a parent may have a job. I don't know, but just the phrasing. Like, at least be apologetic that you don't have time to explain something.
Yeah. I mean, this doesn't matter, right? We just need a place to deploy this for some number of months to collect some data to decide if this is worth doing anything with. So, I'm happy to pay for a VM. I'm happy to split the cost of a VM for a few months, or I'm also happy to just run it on my personal infra.
Let's do what we're doing and leave this for like tomorrow.
Sure.
So if I do cargo test, I still have something here to take care of. And did you cargo toml remove the futures crate?
Not yet.
What just happened? Rasterizzer health status is error. I just changed something. Why? Oh, maybe because, right. So every cargo toml would have that, right?
Yeah, I think we saw it in a few places.
Okay. Futures. Toml. Futures. Toml. Futures. And that. Okay, Rust Analyzer is rolling again. And here's the one. What was the deal here? Deal is that instead of all this, there's like a pin, box pin, sorry, right? Box pin of like async body, right?
I don't remember.
And here's the body of this function.
That's the whole function, including
So
signature.
that's the body of the function. This function disappears. And it was a closure, wasn't it? Like TXN and then box. And whatever this is, next step. Did I save everything? Yes.
Okay, so the pattern we're trying to implement is this thing right here on the left part of my screen. So let's look for the next box pin. Oops, box pin. Okay, so one difference is we have async move on the left. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Connection.transaction. Then I only see one await on the left-hand side, whereas we've got... No. Okay, that looks similar. This box pin thingy returns okay here, whereas here we're probably returning some more interesting type. Is that right? Okay, branch.
Do you see the hint? Consider restricting opaque type.
Right here? I did not see that.
Yes.
We can do that. Understand it. I don't even know where this plus sign thingy would go. That go here?
I'm sorry. Like I don't think this is what we should do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we had this is an sref, right? So somewhere there should be an sref call. And I probably just deleted that in the method call.
Oh.
Well,
Don't see it here.
Query as, maybe query as takes an asref. In that case, that should not change.
Well, it does change from an asref to a string, right?
And then, well, what about where's the call made?
Like if I do
Where is it
let,
ever changed? Oh, I see. And that's
well, that didn't work.
we already have that line, right? Like that s equals name as ref to own.
Maybe. Does S get used in the code?
284.
Right there. Okay, got it. So can we just shadow instead? Okay. All right, weird. I don't understand what an sref is.
It's just like the first paragraph says.
Used to do cheap reference-to-reference conversion. I don't know what reference-to-reference conversion is or how it could be expensive. But we presumably designed this because that's how our callers need things to work. So I guess I'm not gonna pull on that thread. I trust that we've made a reasonable decision in the past.
It's kind of an idiom. You want something that you can obtain refster from, so it's convenient for the caller. Because many things many things implement as refster.
I see. Okay. So you get some like implicit conversions that are convenient or something?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds possible.
Yes. I mean, you have to do it's not implicit. You have to do this as ref call to 284.
I thought you were saying it's convenient for the caller.
Yeah, it's convenient for the caller. Because they can pass as is types that,
right.
More than one type. Not just the type that you chose.
Yeah. So it's convenient for the caller at the expense of making things complicated for the implementer.
It's just an sref call.
Right. Okay. Sounds reasonable. Okay. Let's do that again. So where's the next thingy? Okay, here we go. So this is gonna become connection dot transaction. Then in here,
closure remains, but the call to transaction and the subsequent box call, they turn into an async block.
well, a box pin.
Right, sorry.
Async.
Box pin, async block.
Box pin, async move, empty thingy, like that, right? Then in here, we take this code, paste it there. Okay. That actually work? Oh my gosh. Sorry. All right. And the next one is right here.
Did you start the timer?
Looks like the timer just ran out.
Oh.
I can do this last one, or do you want to do it?
Sure, go ahead.
Great, and then I'll rotate. Okay, so this, like on the left-hand side here, is gonna actually be a box pin async move. Box pin async move, boom, boom. And inside of here, we're gonna take this code, paste, and dxn. Well, we'll see what happens here. Okay, great. Landing, where do you come from? Needed that code. Probably self. Yeah, it was self right there. Okay. So we'll say let landing equals self. Okay. Nope, not quite. Consider specifying the generic arguments. Is this like I need to tell it what we're returning?
Type annotations needed. Yes, because the error is not known.
Okay.
It's an SQLX result.
Here we go. But is it going to be like a pinned result or something?
It's going to be a box pin of that, right?
So box, pin. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Not quite. It's a box of pin.
That?
Maybe. Or is it a pin of box? No, it's a box. You can see what box pin actually returned, right?
Pin a box.
Pin a
Okay,
box.
sure. Pin of that box.
What now? What's expected one argument, found two.
Comma. I don't understand the syntax here. Like, oh, do I need curly braces around all of this?
Maybe when there's a return type declaration, you do.
There we go. Okay.
Pin is just pin.
Type annotation needed. Sure. Say so.
Is it really?
I know.
What's that? Can't see the error.
Love to see the editor auto formatting kick in. All right.
It's expecting an enum result, and it found async block. Where is the... We have this type definition. Expected closure to return pin box. Done future, but it returns pin box result.
Future rather than a.
How is it returning
result.
pin box result? This is not doing what you think it's doing. That okay, line 442.
That's not part of this. That's outside of this whole.
Well, then 439.
Yes, that. Mm-hmm.
Let's remove that.
Let's remove that. Okay. Why? We used to do that.
Well, then, can you show us the original?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
just
up
go
here.
all the way, just undo all the way back.
Like, here's the original on the left.
Oh, You see, it does not return. It's an async function. An async function returns a result of units. And now it's a closure. That returns a box in.
Maybe. Yes, that's what we're trying to do.
And it does not format, you're saying?
Doesn't feel like it.
I think it may have to do with like a long string literal that we have in 432.
Okay. Not sure why that affects 429.
Can I see the whole error, please? Again? Expect arguments to this function are incorrect. Arguments to box thin. What are the arguments to box thin? The async move block. Is there anything after the async move block?
Curly brace right here for the closure, and then closing off the transaction call. Like, try to make this easier to read, like that.
Did it just format?
I think it did. Let's see. No, it did not format. It just felt like it because the diagnostics disappeared.
Okay.
Understand what's interesting about this?
Can you compare this with another one?
Yeah, so here's another one on the left. Connection dot transaction. A block. Here we've explicitly typed it because I was thrashing around, but I'll keep it simple for now. No return value. Just a box pin. At. Lined up with each other. There we go. Those lines of code are identical at this point.
Save.
Got curly braces I need to get rid of. There we go. Okay, saving. All right. And we saw this error before, yeah.
I don't, yeah. Yeah.
Type must be on at this point.
Try specifying there like it's suggested.
here, colon, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
It's probably an SQLX error.
Oh, jeez Louise. Okay. Mysterious.
Still no formatting there, is there?
I'm not sure. Let's see. I'll try that out right now. If I just put some unnecessary spaces here. Yeah, I got formatting there.
Okay.
That did what it was supposed to do. Cargo test. Okie dokie. So I don't know why it was so hard for us to put types around the block.
They were the wrong types.
Okay. Mob next. Go for it.
There's an expect check. And here's group here. Well, we don't have the futures crate.
Would you share screen?
Futures crate, gone. Futures crate, gone. Imports gone. Simplified, I suppose.
Yeah. Definitely nicer.
That's the test context with the it itself uses database context with.
Yep.
Did we change both of these?
Yes.
I suppose we must have. And this is the macro is removed. And here's a couple of tests.
Yep.
I trust that you were. I kind of want to see that some lines have not changed here. Why doesn't it show me that? This is supposed to be fancy liftastic. But there are literally lines here that are change different only in indentation. I
Yeah.
suppose
I don't know what the AST difference is though.
Apparently it's different enough. Looks the same. It looks like it. It looks like it. The test names are something that could easily be worked here. Were you careful with the test names?
But doesn't hurt to check.
Test internal landed there. Appear not found. Here not landed. PR landed. JSON. Redirect. API docs. Here is database content. This is a test where we never used the, because it was for test context. That's what the test macro. This is only database.
Sorry, I'm not following.
I was wondering why this was never a macro. It's because
okay. Gotcha.
v1 API not found, and features removed. With context with, I don't see what I'm kind of expecting to see here. There's change only to the signature, but F is just called, called with a wait. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Futures. This is the implementation test context. Here there is the usage of database context with passing on an async closure instead of that closure with async block. This was not a macro. Story. Branch patterns. Looks right. This one. Okay. This context with futures. SKX connection brought into scope here.
It was already in scope.
It's already in scope? Ah.
It's just the only thing left.
Postgres and transactions somehow went away. And futures. Yeah, I see the similarity. Now I see some differences. So here's a function.
Yep.
Body. And here it's time. Connection, transaction, boxed in. Probably fine. What is this? Transaction. Right. Yeah, these are ugly, aren't they? The fact that all we needed to write these functions named.
Sorry, what's ugly?
That this is what we had to do. To have named functions and then call them.
Yes, that was super weird. It was in my list of these are weird things that I don't understand about async programming in Rust. I remember we spent forever figuring out that pattern. nice to know that we didn't have to do it, I guess.
No, we had to do it.
Is this working now because we're leveraging a new feature?
Async closures.
Where are the async closures?
Mm. No, this is just a boxed in, right? Do you think this was always possible?
That's my guess.
Huh.
We hadn't found that example in the docs, or the example got added. It's a very useful example.
Many changes. Landing, yeah, landing self is necessary, right? Because
No, we could
no, it's
probably
not
change the
necessary.
references to just self. I was just trying to minimize the diff, but happy to change it.
Methodology. Fine. Fix it.
Left. Nice.
Store. Wait, store. Okay. No longer a function. Function. Feature of X. This is an async closure in DB rep. Async closure. Right, yeah. Otherwise counted with. Let's prepare. Otherwise counted with. Async closure.
Cool.
But check. Ship this, ship this. Rust
Yep.
edition 2024.
Sounds good.
Surprising that we didn't get any more warnings from, I think, Clippy specifically telling us, hey, now you can do it this way.
Wouldn't we need to pull in a newer version of Clippy?
We bumped the edition.
Sure.
That means, we have the supposedly latest version of Clippy already. Whatever we have from Crane bumping our inputs, And we bumped the edition. So Clippy is, the entire tool chain supports all editions simultaneously, even in the same project, right? That's the
Okay.
Rust editions feature. That's like maximum backwards compatibility.
Okay. But like at some point in time, somebody would have had to write some code for Clippy to check for the thing you're talking about.
Yes.
And we don't know if it ever got written.
Correct.
But we do know that if it got written, it didn't get written years ago, right? It got written as part of the implementing this feature, right? Like as a consequence of somebody building it.
Yeah, you cannot write a lint rule for something that does not exist.
Yeah. And so I'm just saying,
But
like,
mhm.
when did that happen? Has it actually happened?
Also, I'm not sure what it is because I'm saying no, I don't know any specific thing. It's just
yeah, maybe
that
there's
we
no
bumped an
rigorous way
addition.
of. Yeah.
Maybe in a way, it's nice that we even between these editions, there's not like the previous edition was already nice enough in many ways. Perhaps a possible clippy lint would be stop stop using stop defining types that are impl async impl fn1s that returns a box future, but it's a bit much to it. Sometimes that's what you want to do, and for a lint that's a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so mob done here.
Great.
We bumped the addition already. This is not bumping the addition. This is like some like use async closures, right?
Yep. The previous commit was bumping the addition, and I'm fine landing this as two separate PRs.
Yeah.
Or two separate commits, not PRs.
Long command should do the trick. Okay. Log. Yes. Good.
Great.
Good work, Jeremy.
I'm starting to fade, so I think I'm gonna call it here. But feel free to respond to Zoak if you want, or we can pick it up tomorrow. And like I said, I'm happy to post this thing ourselves somehow.
Is your closet not large enough?
I'm fine with the closet. I think it can handle this. It's been fine.
Whomever will hit this will understand that this is in. Like we could have literally said this is in your closet.
Yep. Yeah. So then something for you to sleep on is, do we want to pick a different domain name? We don't have to, but we could.
No,
What I am going to be doing though, in like the coming weeks, is like I'm gonna have some fairly serious downtime in my home lab because I'm gonna be encrypting the hard drives, and I'm not sure that I'm gonna like do that in a way that minimizes downtime, and I don't want to feel the stress of minimizing downtime. So my slight preference would be to pay for a VM somewhere, or I don't know. Maybe we see what happens with this Zoak person, but it doesn't sound like they're gonna budge on this, which is totally fine. It's their prerogative.
Is it?
I mean, I
We'll
don't feel
see.
like I have any rights here. Like,
No, they're not the only person, even in Nick's community. I don't know who they are. Don't know who they think they are. It's not. I'm not necessarily going to like try to fight it now. I'm just kind of. I want to see what happens next.
mhm.
People act this way. You kind of expect other people who are involved to get involved.
I don't know. I think I saw some. I recognized some of the names. I was like, those people are fucking busy as hell. So I
Yeah.
I would rather that they avoid drama and stay focused on delivering value than getting involved in drama. But who knows?
So, ZFS.
For my home lab,
Mm-hmm.
probably. I think so. Um, thing that frustrates me about ZFS, at least ZFS native encryption, is it only supports one passphrase or one key slot. And I would really like to have multiple key slots because I want my wife and I to both be able to decrypt the hard drives in an emergency. And I'd rather we not like both memorize some other passphrase, you know, like I could use mine, she could use hers, and I wouldn't have to
You
know
want to
hers.
reuse.
Yeah. So that's what I like about Lux is you can have up to 8 key slots, and ZFS native encryption seems to. Is that what you use? Do you use ZFS with native encryption?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
What I like about it is that it's not a different mechanism. It's integrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like disappointing. The person who implemented it, or one of the people who implemented it, like, there's an issue about this. And they're like, I designed it to be able to support multiple key slots. But like,
really?
Then he like, you know, his job doesn't have him working on ZFS anymore, and like nobody has picked up the torch. And I'm like, this is disappointing.
So like deeper down.
Yeah, I don't know what the layout is, but
there's support, but near the usage there's like a low hanging. It seems like a low hanging fruit.
I don't know that it's super low hanging. It might be like he designed the binary representation on disk in a way that like would be forwards compatible with having multiple slots or something. Like, I don't know. He wasn't very concrete. But it does fit my stereotype. Like, I don't know. You read about ZFS encryption online and you get a whole lot of FUD. Like, I don't know if you've seen that, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, some people built this thing and then pieced out. And then there's like FUD about like how stable it is, or like, I don't know, something about send and receive being weird. Like, I don't know the details. It's just a whole lot of FUD when you try to Google this stuff. And but it does at least fit my stereotype of like, or what I've absorbed from the internet, which is that it doesn't seem like ZFS native encryption is getting a lot of love. Not that it's insecure, not that it's buggy, but just that it's not like, you know, getting quality of life improvements, I guess.
Well, you can take this multiple passphrase thing and like you can use your wife's. You can put your wife's passphrase there because she already remembers it, and then you can use your, put hers in your keys, and then you don't remember it, but you can easily access it with your passphrase because that's how you unlock your other secret. I'm probably not saying anything.
I didn't follow that.
In other words, it's not a big deal that, like, if you wanna, you can use your wife's passphrase to unlock it, and then you would have to get access. You do have, you know her passphrase, right? No. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I get it.
Yeah. So that's the attitude I'd like to have, is like the stuff that's joint, we both have access to, but like we don't have to know each other's like passphrases. That's how we do it. Like we use Vault Warden. Like we self-host Vault Warden for all our password management. And like I don't know her Vault Warden passphrase and she doesn't know mine. But then we have a lot of shared accounts that are shared on Vault Warden and therefore are decryptable by 2 different passphrases. So I don't know. I mean, it's not the way we have to do things. Like, it's just this is not the reason I haven't done anything. It's just the thing that, like, when I'm lying in bed at night researching ZFS and ZFS encryption, it's like there are a few workarounds. Like some people jam some encrypted stuff, and like ZFS apparently has some place for metadata that you can like just jam some crap. But yeah. So
okay. Good luck.
Anyways, yeah, silly thing.
Otherwise, it's an upgrade. It's a big difference because it's not. You don't have like to unlock one block device and then put something else in it. It's all integrated. That has benefits. That's convenient.
Yeah, so one thing I understand is like if I actually had multiple devices, having one passphrase to manage all that, rather than like, I don't know, if I was using like Lux and then ZFS on top of Lux, I would have to like decrypt, say I was building a collection of 4 drives into one like ZFS pool. It's nice to have a single passphrase to manage all of that, which works because it's all integrated, like you said. Whereas if it was like Lux, I'd have to like unlock 4 separate devices before ZFS could then like stitch together the pool out of that. But you're looking at me in a way that makes it sound like this is not the thing you care about.
No, it's just just invert it, right? Like you can combine multiple volumes and multiple block devices into one block device, and then that can be the thing that's encrypted. And then it's one thing that's decrypted with a
You're
single
saying
password.
you could do that with Lux?
Look, it's Linux, so it's all block devices. So you can stripe using one mechanism. Whatever mechanism it is, you end up with a single block device.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can use Lux on that to create a new block device that is encrypted using Lux and decrypted using Lux. So another block device. And then you can put
Yeah.
a file system in that decrypted block device.
Mm-hmm. Right. That makes sense. The thing I find confusing about ZFS is the VDEVs versus pools distinction. Like the VDEVs themselves can be built up of multiple. Oh God, do I have the vocabulary right?
I don't remember the vocabulary. It's kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Yeah.
How many times do I do this?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I don't totally grok the architecture, like, or the reason for the architecture. I can't tell if it's like a leaky abstraction or not, where it's like I need to understand that, like, I don't know, building a large device at one layer, the lower layer, might have different performance characterizations than combining a bunch of like VDEVs into one big pool. Because it seems like you could do it either way. Like if you're just trying to combine 4 drives into one large file system, I think there are 2 different ways to do it. And I don't understand the consequences of doing it one way versus the other. And since I've just been reading up on file systems because this is what I've been doing at night, it's like there's other stuff like bcachefs that doesn't seem to have this like layer distinction, where it's just like you throw a bunch of devices at it and you say what you want your redundancy requirements to be, but there isn't like 2 different layers at which you're like stitching things together. But anyways, ZFS seems like a safer choice because it's been around longer. So I think that's why I'm going to end up there.
Okay, check out my, I think in my...
Do you have a disco?
Configs. No disco.
No disco. Okay.
No disco. It's
But I can see your, at least
the
your
benefit
decryption.
of disco is like I find it appealing, but also you enjoy it not frequently. You enjoy it when you deploy. So I'm not not inclined. And it's actually ironic because when I'm motivated to deploy, it's because I need to deploy. And that's not the time that I want to be learning something new. I want my machine to work. So I have like several times said I could do disco, or I could quote unquote just set up the file systems. That's it. Because it's not difficult with such a simple setup.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So Yeah. Anyways, I'm
But I do have
excited
some
to.
ZFS related configuration that you can look at other than this.
This is like how the file system gets mounted, or
Yeah. In
okay,
fact, in XOS, you gotta tell ZFS not to do its thing.
I
ZFS
don't know
tries
about
to
this.
take over mounting.
Oh, I think I've heard of this. Okay.
ZFS tries to take over mounting, and so in the sense that the mount points are not declared in fstab, but instead they are declared in the ZFS metadata.
Got it.
And NixOS, you have to align with it, right? You have to play by the rules. So you can do that. You can tell ZFS, don't do this. Just let me
That's a property
take care.
that also lives on metadata. Like it's
Yes.
part of the device, not part of the configuration of the the machine
Right.
connected to the device.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
And my metadata you cannot see in my configs, right? So like ZFS get, I don't know, mount point, right? There. So I have storage, which is, you don't necessarily have to have this like hierarchy, but I do, right? I could have used this and mount this directly, but I don't. So this is the top level thing. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's a Z.
Seems like it would be a mount point because you just ran get mount point.
No, this is a table of a property of a ZF fest this. See, it's the same items. So this is a ZFS.
It's a Z something.
ZFS help. A data set.
Oh, okay.
So these are data sets, and I can mount the data set, or I can like make a new one that's nested in the. So it uses its storage, and then you can play with.
And how do these relate to Z pools?
This is a Z pool, and you can use it as a data set, is what I understand.
Oh, okay. So that's the same thing. That storage, it's not a naming coincidence.
It's not.
Yeah. You have a Z pool called storage, which is also a data set, but then you've nested one data set under.
Right.
Okay.
And I think I do this for like, because then you could put what you said, like a quota on this.
Okay.
You can limit the size of it, right? So it's doesn't take all of your pool. Yeah. But so ZFS gets mount point. This is the value that says don't
legacy
mount. I will mount.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great. And then do you have anything like snapshotting or anything like that?
I don't
Okay.
You
Got it.
could do snapshotting. You could use all the fancy features.
Yeah, there's like an auto snapshot, something that I read about, which sounds like the sort of thing that'll come in useful about once a decade, and you'll be happy when you have it, sort of thing.
Just don't snapshot your store.
Could see that being expensive. Yeah, I don't know what granularity one can do snapshotting on. Like, do you have to snapshot an entire
I suppose you would.
data set?
And that's why you would, if you want your data to be somewhere and your store to be somewhere else, you could use multiple data sets.
So you could create two data sets, and you're not
actually,
statically allocating the space
exactly.
for them.
You don't have to. They all just share the same.
Two partitions where it's like, hope you guessed right, or hope you predicted the future correctly, or like live with the internal fragmentation of like, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so if someone wanted to do snapshotting, they might choose to put their next store on a different data set. You don't care about that, so you don't bother.
Correct.
That makes sense. Okay, well, I'll probably form more opinions about all this after I've used CFS, and then I'll reformat everything again in the future. But maybe by then Bcachefs will be more stable, and maybe I'll check that out. Who knows?
Oh, and my strategy. Is this interesting?
This is very useful to hear about.
Is what you saw ZFS list. What you saw this storage/root in my configurations. I am relying on the existence of this. That's the contract between the storage devices that are present and the configuration.
Okay.
And that can be seen in, well, I think, storage file system, which declares a NixOS module called PC. And there's some stuff here you should probably take a look at. But root is this device. And notice that it's not like dev something something. FS type ZFS just has its own name.
So like ZFS would freak out if you connected two different devices with the same, like, because you could plug two different hard drives into the same computer, and there's no guarantee that they have different.
ZFS has this concept of an action called import. So just connecting is not enough. In order for it to be in that namespace, it needs to be imported. And there are some more features with that, which is like, you saw, right? A force import root.
So how does it get imported for you?
So so by default, so a ZFS metadata remembers it's whether it is imported currently or not, and even the host ID that it is imported in.
Okay.
And so if you take that device and you put it in a different host, and you boot it up or you hot plug it, the host identifies it. By default, the ZFS will say this. It will say, this device has a ZFS, whatever the term is, that is currently imported by another host. I will not import it. Of course, that can be forced.
I see. Interesting. Okay. I see. So there's no Nix code that makes it happen. It's just like state on the drive that was created when you formatted or partitioned the drive, or whatever the verb is.
Which is a caveat, because when you install your NixOS, you're doing it via like a live booted thing, NixOS.
Yeah, maybe that's a different host ID or something.
Exactly, it's a different host ID.
Yeah,
So what you need
makes
to do
sense.
after you finish all your ZFS actions is to export.
Oh, okay. And Disco probably has native support for this.
Yeah, I suppose, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well,
makes sense.
yeah, I think Disco probably does it from the truth. So it will be the correct host. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. You can't create the
I don't know.
truth
But
goes
I don't
on
know.
the
It does.
formatted
No, you're right.
drive.
Yeah.
So yeah, but maybe it just does that at the end. I wouldn't be
Wait, why do
surprised.
you say that it goes on the formatted drive?
Because that's how the installation goes, right? Like you say, okay, I'm gonna install Nix on this thing. I'm gonna put it somewhere. Where am I gonna put it? Okay, I'll partition and format a drive. Then I'll like create a root file system over there on that drive. But you gotta format the drive first to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. I bet it simply exports it.
Yeah, there must be some.
Simply exports it at the end.
Yeah.
When it exports, it's not important who the last importer was, whether it's even stored.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that was helpful. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right.
I'd love
See
to
you
see
tomorrow.
your disco when he
Yeah.
that's it.
This has like been on my list for weeks and I keep like not getting to it. It's like every day I have random stuff that comes up. So I gotta do it at some point though. It's gonna be like
Right.
one of those projects that once I start, it's just gonna be the only thing I work on. But before I start, it's like every distraction is a distraction. So
Good luck. See you
thank you.
tomorrow, Jeremy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. Share. And until next time, be well.